Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Wrestling Show. With us tonight, we have Mr. Jason Stewart. How are you tonight?
Oh, I'm doing real good, Rich, man. Good to see you, man. Glad to be here.
Yep. Out there in the chat so far, we've got you and MKJO. If you're out there and don't say anything, we don't know you're out there, so please at least say hello so we know you're out there. And MKJO says, "Great job on the Dwayne Haskins tributes."
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah. Yeah, Dwayne Haskins. Uh, Not that I was the hugest fan, but, he was considered one of my own, because of who he played for. But, regardless of anything, man, he was awful young man.
Mm.
You know, just a sad, sad story.
Have there been any updates on that? I haven't heard anything.
I've just heard some hearsay stuff. It's not very flattering.
Yeah, the last thing I heard was that he was on I crossing I-95 barefoot when he was hit by the truck. What he was doing on I-95, I couldn't tell you.
Well, not to go into too much. I heard he was with a woman they considered to be extremely drunk. So it might be one of the situations where, he just had enough, or they both said enough. He just pulled the car over, like, yeah, I'm leaving or I'm walking or something. And I don't know. Regardless of how it was or whatever, he was still just barely, like, what, 24 years old, 25
Yeah,
years old. It's
something
not
like that.
very
Yeah,
old. And I hate to see it, man. I hate. But
with Roethlisberger retiring, and then bringing in Mitchell Trubisky. Depending on how Trubisky did, he had a good shot of possibly even being the starting quarterback for the Steelers this season coming up too, which makes it even worse.
yeah, it could have
Mhm.
been like his second chance. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Cut short, man. Just sad to see it cut short.
yeah. I mean, his career could have been hitting the high point of his career or the breakout season for his career, and something like this happens.
But thanks, yeah, man. They just did tribute, so I recorded it. And Sergeant Joe Smith put out a video. He's got a Dwayne Haskins football card. It's pretty cool. But yeah. Anyways, what's going on wrestling wise?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. But first, we got Echo's reloading chamber out there, so evening Echo. But yeah, major announcement. Oh, you were gonna say something?
I was just gonna say hi to Eka. It's that time for me.
Okay. Yeah, there was a major announcement on Wednesday on AEW Dynamite, and the Forbidden Door has formally been kicked wide the freaking hell open. AEW, in conjunction with New Japan Pro Wrestling, has announced a joint pay per view for June 26th, where it's apparently going to be AEW stars taking on New Japan stars. With and we have possibly the first match lined up as well, with Kenta on Twitter challenging CM Punk to a match to see who has the better finishing maneuver known as the go to sleep or the GTS.
Hmm. Uh, how far away is it? June.
June 26th. So a
Hmm.
little over 2 months from
Okay.
now.
Okay. Well, we'll do what we got to do to get that right.
Uh-huh.
You have the ability to get that.
Oh yeah, we can do that. Bleacher Report's going to be doing it, so I don't know how much it's going to be yet. I mean,
That's, that's all right. Just we have the ability to get it, so we'll get that one. Get the next one if there's anything coming up, man. I got it.
well, that'll be the next. No, wait, I think Double or Nothing's before that. I'll have to check. I think Double or Nothing is in May, and then the AEW New Japan joint show will be in June. And real quick, we've been joined by Guns and Barbecue, Evening Barbecue.
How's it going?
Not
Hey,
doing
man.
your show tonight?
I am. I had some time to kill. I didn't see Brooke live or anything, so I figured I'd jump over here,
Oh, okay.
see what's happening.
How much did you hear about what we were just talking about?
Literally just jumped in.
Okay. Okay. Well, have you seen the big announcement from Wednesday's Dynamite?
No.
AEW and New Japan have kicked the door extremely wide open now. They are doing a joint pay per view on June 26th.
Oh, snap.
And it's apparently going to, from initial reports, it's going to be AEW wrestlers taking on New Japan wrestlers, with the first proposed match possibly being Kenta versus CM Punk.
Oh, wow. That would be one to see.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, So, did you catch the CM Punk versus Dustin Reynolds match
Yes.
a couple days ago? Holy cow!
Yeah, that was from Dynamite this week.
That's what I thought. But my God, those guys put on a friggin' clinic. That was terrific.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, yeah. MKJ heard about the Dante Martin injury, and apparently, from what he said, it's a non-wrestling related injury, but he is going to be out for a while again. For those of you who don't know, Dante Martin is an AEW wrestler. He's in a tag team with his brother known as Top Flight. And they're a good young tag team, the high flyer type of tag team, kind of like the Rockers and, um, Rock and Roll Express, but a lot more agile, and they do the flippy kind of stuff. Dante is more of the strength guy on the team, and his brother, the speed guy, but they're both extremely fast and agile. So,
What did he do?
don't know. That part I don't know, but apparently he hurt himself outside of a wrestling ring. So yeah, no idea what he something to his leg. It's all I know. And he had just came back. He had tore his knee up and whatnot. So I don't know if he re-injured the same leg or it's the other leg now or what happened. But the first injury, he was out for almost a year with a knee injury. Yeah, it's a it's a shitty situation for him and his brother. Though his brother was doing well for himself as a solo wrestler. So we'll see how that goes this time around. Yeah. Let's see. Like, getting back to the announcement, it was interesting who they had making the announcement. Because first you had Tony Khan come out, the owner of AEW, to make the announcement, and he called out the president of New Japan, who was there in Pittsburgh for the show. So the two of them are standing there, and then they get interrupted on the screen by Adam Cole, who goes off on spewing stuff about how it's all going to be about him and the Undisputed Elite, which is basically the Elite in what was formerly the Undisputed Era in NXT as a team now. And he calls out a friend of his. And out walking from the back comes Jay White, leader of the Bullet Club in New Japan. And they highly intimated that the Undisputed Era and the Bullet Club are aligned with each other, which makes sense because Adam Cole is a former member of the Bullet Club, and all the members of the Elite are former members of the Bullet Club.
Well, I was gonna say though, I mean, at this point, Bullet Club's kind of like NWO. Everybody and their mother's been part of it.
Yeah, but it's more of a swinging door kind of thing too.
Yeah,
It's not as bad as the
and it's
NWO.
lasted.
You don't have 50 guys in Bullet Club.
Yeah, and it's lasted what, a decade now?
Almost. This is their 9th year.
Yeah. See, so I mean, there's a couple big differences, but at the same time,
Well,
just
it was inspired by Bullet Club. I mean, Bullet Club was inspired by the NWO.
yeah. And say that's why they do the too sweet, all that fun jazz.
That's why their colors are black and white, just like the NWO. Yeah, and we've been joined by Kingpin. So, evening, sir.
What up, boys?
Howdy.
You.
So,
Were you were you lurking out in the chat at all and hear what the announcement was from AEW this week?
Nah, nah. I just walked in the door, turned my computer on, and came here. So
Okay. Well, remembering how a little while back we were talking about the Forbidden Door and how AEW was going to be working with New Japan and Impact and all that. New Japan and AEW have announced their first official crossover pay per view for June 26th.
nice. Is it any good?
Uh, don't know what the matches are yet. I mean, they literally just announced it on Wednesday. The only match that is being speculated right now because of the Twitter challenge is Kenta versus CM Punk. That they got 2 months to build, over 2 months yet to build the card. So we'll see how this goes. I mean, but this could be an interesting pay per view. And it was like I was telling them, it was interesting they had announced it. They had Adam Cole and Jay White basically be the ones to announce this. It'd be interesting to see where it goes. Okay, so what the hell was I going to say before you jumped in? You made me lose my train of thought, man.
Yeah, I have that effect on people.
Oh, I know what. Excuse me. I know what I was going to say. You guys remember Scott Norton from the NWO, the guy that was tag team partner with Buff Bagwell?
yeah.
I remember the name. I can't picture a face though. I remember Buff
Yeah.
Bagwell.
Yeah. Norton may be the first member of the NWO to have joined the Bullet Club.
Nice.
He wrestled as a member of Bullet Club at that big show that was happening WrestleMania weekend in Dallas between Impact, New Japan, Pro Wrestling Noah, and Ring of Honor people. Norton's got to be pushing what, 60 or older than that now? He's been around for a while.
Hey, us old guys can still kick ass, damn it.
Yeah. Hell, Minoru Suzuki's in his 50s, and I wouldn't want to run into him in a dark alley if he's pissed off. Christ, Sting is doing more high flying maneuvers now than he did when he was freaking Surfer Sting with the spiked hair and bleach blonde hair with the neon colored tights and shit. So, the older guys are getting crazy in their old age. But,
It's because we got nothing to live for.
yeah, MKJO says he's 60. He didn't look too bad for his age either in the match. I mean, you could tell he was older, but he still was built like a goddamn fire plug. If you know what I mean. If you remember how Scott Norton was built, I mean, he was a guy that looked like if you slapped, gave him one of those chops on the chest, he wouldn't even feel it. Yes, MKJO brings up that Kushida has left the WWE. Yes, and he reportedly is going back to New Japan, so we could have him in that pay per view as well on June 26th. Imagine him versus the other Martin brother. No, no, Dante's not the one injured. Darius is the one that's injured, right? Or is it Dante? Shit, I don't remember now. I think it's Darius that's the one that's hurt, not Dante. Dante is the faster one, but him against Kushida, that would be a good match. I don't know if you guys know who Kushida is. He's a really good junior heavyweight or cruiserweight, if you will, or what we call him over here. New Japan, they call them light heavyweights or junior heavyweights.
Alrighty, Rich. I got to split out of here, sir. Thank you for the invite, and have a great rest of your show.
Well, thanks for jumping in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Later,
buddy.
man.
So, yeah, we got Kushida heading over there. That was a big story this week. His contract expired, and he decided that he was going back home to Japan. Then you got the injury to, I believe it was Darius, not Dante. They, the story I said was that it was the one that was injured before. That would have been Darius, not Dante. Unless it is Dante, and they got the story and where I saw the story had it wrong. It wouldn't be the first time that's ever happened, right? Where media got something wrong. But, yeah, so, I'm trying to think what else. I don't know how much YouTube know about New Japan. I'd ask you what you would think would be a good match for the upcoming show, but you guys haven't really seen the Japanese stuff, so I don't think you guys would know on that front, right?
That's a good synopsis.
No,
Yes.
I concur.
Okay. Yeah, 'cause there definitely are some interesting match combinations that could happen. And MKJ says, "Yeah, it was Darius." Okay, that's what I thought.
I mean, just because Jason and I don't know what we're talking about doesn't mean that you can't talk about it if you want.
Oh yeah, I know, but I don't want to
Yeah.
talk about something you guys not know what the hell I'm talking about.
Well, how are we
Let's
supposed
say,
to
God,
learn anything, Rich?
you got to watch New Japan, man. That's how. Sheesh, I got to do everything around here.
Does
Dude, I
MKG watch New Japan?
got
Does
my
your
hands full with New America right now.
Yeah, NKJO knows about New Japan.
yeah, so maybe the four people out in the audience, there's five people out in the audience know about New Japan and they want to hear you talk about it.
Yeah, he says he only catches up when the show's on. Well,
Who,
we had
who
a pre. Oh, go ahead, Jason.
who's gonna be the featured match?
Don't know yet. There's some speculation that maybe we might see Jay White challenging Adam Page for the AEW World Title, and that would be an interesting match because I don't think those guys have ever uh, had a match over in Japan. Though they came close, but I don't remember them ever having a match before. So, there was some speculation that he may have challenged Jay White for the U.S. title when Jay White beat Kenny Omega for it, but I don't remember them actually having a match during that deal. That would have been back when Jay White was still a member of Chaos, when he was first making a big name for himself over in New Japan. So I honestly don't remember that match taking place, even though they looked like they were going to build to it. Maybe they did, and I just don't remember. I don't know how I can find out though. Give me a second here, and I will verify whether they actually had that match or not, because I don't remember it if they did. I have to go back a few years here. Yes, they did. They very back on March 25th of 2018. Like I said, it was a few years ago if they did. It was in the United States even. It was at the Walter Pyramid in Long Beach, California. So there you go. Him and Jay White have met in the ring before, and Jay White won that match. And again, that would have been for the IWGP United States Heavyweight title. That would have been Jay White's first defense of the belt.
What's happening, Buck?
Even what?
I didn't make a video about it yet, but Buck sent me a nice little treasure trove in my reloading journey. Some
Mhm.
scales and some other stuff. I'll have to ask him exactly what it was before I make the video. But pretty sizable bag full of stuff. Pretty awesome. Thank you, sir.
Something that interesting that could happen on that show that I just thought of. New Japan is going to have a tournament to crown a new United States champion because the current champion, Sonata, was injured and had to relinquish the belt. That pay per view would be a great place to hold the final of that tournament. And maybe from there they can move it to their American TV show instead of having it over the belt over in Japan. How crazy is it that they defend that the United States Championship for New Japan is over in Japan? Of course, the whole point of that belt was to be the championship for their U.S. Expansion, which got the monkey wrench thrown into that because of the whole COVID nonsense. And then Moxley had that belt the entire time and really couldn't defend it anywhere because at that point, New Japan didn't have a U.S. show. That was before NJPW Strong came about. And instead of putting that belt on that show as the main title for that show, they created a new championship, which I don't know, didn't make any damn sense.
So, to just clarify, because technology requires clarification. When you say show and you're talking about New Japan, you're not talking about turn on your television and watch on a cable network or whatever.
No, this is a show that's on their streaming service.
So you can only watch it on the internet. So even if you had like direct TV or satellite TV, you're still not going to go to a channel on television to watch this.
No, but you might be able to watch it on your smart TV depending on how your browser works.
Right, but that would still be on the internet. You
Right,
just
it'll still be on the internet.
on your television screen.
Right,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. But all right. So in
which a
other
lot
words,
of people
the
do
show
these
is going to
days.
be online.
Right, it's an online show.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like
Now, how do you think? Yeah, regular television's dead. Whether the boxes go away or not, I don't know. But cable television, satellite TV, all that stuff is the way of the dodo. Uh, because as soon as the more people have the option to pay for what they want, if you want Sports Center, you pay for Sports Center, and you don't get Lawn and Garden TV. Well, Lawn and Garden TV is not going to exist anymore because not enough people want it. So I think with the Japan people starting like all internet, I think they got a pretty good run on everybody to where the customer base is already used to it, so there's not going to be any kind of like weirdness. Uh, it's actually not a bad idea to have only internet available shows for like the wrestling thing.
well, there is one channel that does carry New Japan in the United States on cable television. That's Access. They have a show that's on after Impact on Thursday nights, where they basically show uh, one of the old shows from over in Japan. Over in Japan, New Japan, the way they do it, they don't have a show like Dynamite or like Raw or SmackDown or something like that, right? What they do is on their local television over there in Japan, sometimes they'll show one, and then on their network they show, their internet service, they show. It's basically they show the house shows and the pay per views on their streaming service and regular television over in Japan. So what they do on Access is they take one of those old like house shows or pay per views that have happened months ago in Japan and they put them on Access TV after Impact. And then you can on Roku they have a channel on there where you can watch some of the older New Japan stuff as well. Not super old, but stuff that's been a couple months old. You can watch that on Roku as well. Some stuff on Roku is a couple of years old even. So New Japan, they got a couple different ways that you can watch some of their stuff. I've shown their streaming channel before because I can do that again real quick just to show you what their streaming service looks like for anybody that may not remember. As soon as I find where the tab is on this stupid thing.
G23's in the house.
Evening G23.
Yo.
I'm watching it. Find it. Yeah, let me go. Yeah, here we go. That's why I couldn't find it. But you guys seeing my screen right now?
Yeah, we got you, brother.
Okay. Yeah. See, this is how they do their streaming service. Like this will be their next show, which is when? What day is that? That'll be on Monday. So, and then you got the one on the first. This will be like their next pay per view right here. That's Wrestling Don Taku. Then you got Okada, who's this guy on the left hand side defending the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship against Tetsuya Naito. That ought to be an interesting match. But then, like this would just be like one of their house show kind of things. But they almost all of their shows end up on here. Oh no, wait, that wasn't that show. That was Norton didn't. It wasn't the show. I thought it was Norton Restaurant. It was that pay per view I told you that they were having, but they were only putting it on their service on a certain day. Yeah, it wasn't happening live.
Do we have to pay for this in yen?
Yeah, this show no, this will be paid for in cash, U.S. dollars when it goes on to Bleacher Report to that pay per view. But this you get this will you pay it in you pay it through PayPal, and they convert U.S. dollars to yen for you. It comes out to about $10 a month for their streaming service. A little under $10 because it's 999 yen, which is roughly $9.90 U.S. usually.
Okay. I just wonder because I saw the price of one of those was yen,
Yeah.
and I didn't know if we had to
Well,
do
their
something
website's
special.
based in their website's based in Japan. Yeah, you talking about see how they say what approximately $24 is? It's 3,000 yen. That what you were talking about?
Wow, I'm gonna move to Japan, man. I'll be a rich son of a bitch.
No, because things cost thousands of yen. The yen isn't really worth a whole lot.
Oh, okay. So 3,000 yen isn't like $3,000 here.
No, 3,000 yen is like $24.
I knew it was too good to be true.
Yeah, it's like
Wow.
going to Mexico. You go to Mexico with $500 and you seem rich, but then you realize, but it's costing so much of this stuff.
I always like it when you hear foreign countries, like third world foreign countries, talk about their currency, and there's like 80 quadrillion rubles, and it's like they're buying a candy bar. The numbers are always so, like you were saying, 3,000 yen, and that's a bus ticket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
don't know
get
what
it,
these
man.
two.
Why can't it just be like 24 yen?
Yeah, these two shows here must be special if they're. I don't know what the hell that is. Taka Tahuchi Mania. What? They're having a pay per view centered around Taka Michinoku and Taichi. Okay. And this one I have no idea what this is. Tatsumi Fujinami 50th anniversary. That guy just retired. Why the fuck? I don't know. Maybe that's why that show's special. Maybe that's his a retirement show or some shit. They do that over in Japan. If a wrestler's having a big anniversary or retiring or something, they'll do like a special show in their honor. So that's probably what this here is. This one, I don't know what the hell the deal with this one is. This like no, that's just like one of their house shows, and this will be the next pay per view. What over here would be a pay per view anyway? and they got these two that show pay per view. Yeah. So anyway, but you get like these are the latest things that are coming up. News stories here basically for those ones, and then the latest shows that they had. Then you get down here and you get the recommended ones, which is what basically like clips from the most recent shows.
Pull up some of their videos and
Yeah, I
check
don't.
the analytics, like see how many views they got and
Yeah, I
updates
really
and stuff.
can't. Yeah, I don't. They don't have that information, sadly.
Um, it'd just be interesting to see, like you were talking about, they play like a 2 month old thing over here on television. How many people really care about a 2 month old wrestling event?
Well, if it's not been seen on TV here, that's how I got into New Japan was watching because I used to do that years ago on Access, and I would watch like the old stuff before I decided. And then once I started watching and I saw that I liked the New Japan stuff because I hadn't watched anything from Japan in years because I used to get the videotapes right back in the 80s and 90s and watch the stuff from Japan that way. And I hadn't watched anything from Japan in a while. And then Access had, when we had Dish Network years ago, they had Access on there, and I used to watch the newer New Japan stuff on there, and that's how I got back into watching the Japanese stuff before I subscribed to their streaming service. Just that's what pulled me back in basically. But yeah, like here and this right here, this is the show I was talking about, the New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong. This is a weekly show. It's once a week. And then every so often they'll throw up like a free episode. And you can watch the free one. If you go to their YouTube channel, New Japan's YouTube channel, you can catch some of these on there for free. They'll be like a couple months old, but if you haven't seen it, you haven't seen it. You know what I mean?
How long are these events?
Um, they're this is an hour to 2 hours, depending on the matches and stuff. The average on them's like an hour and 20 minutes. Sometimes they'll be shorter, sometimes they'll be longer for the New Japan Strong.
So like a basic, same thing as like wrestling on WWE when it comes on television. It's like a 2 hour long something, not 4, 5, 6 hours long, right?
No, no, and like when you watch one of the like this show here, this might be 4 hours because it's the big show. You know what I mean? It's one of their major shows every of the year. So this one might be like 4 hours long.
Yeah, I would expect a major event to be longer, but I'm talking about just like your
Yeah,
average everyday.
yeah, and then like this be like 2.5 to 3 hours, and then like New Japan Strong would be like hour and a half on average, maybe if you were to average out all the times for each of the shows. Hour 20, hour and a half, somewhere around there be the average time. And then you got like their little series here where they, so, and then they'll like throw up AEW shows on here. If somebody from New Japan is wrestling on AEW, they'll put up that episode on here. Or if they're going to be like on Impact, they'll throw that episode up on here. Like they got the Super Card of Honor on here because that match had that pay per view had Suzuki in it. Since he's one of their wrestlers, they put the Super Card of Honor on there. They just notice they got an entry for Dynamite, Rampage, and then Impact Wrestling for that reason. Like if you go here, it's going to be a bunch of Dynamite episodes that had the Japanese guys from New Japan on it. You know. Yeah, like here you got Minoru. This is the episode that had Minoru Suzuki taking on Samoa Joe, where Suzuki defended and lost the Ring of Honor World Television Championship to Samoa Joe.
So what's this crossover thing that you were talking about again? Like the two companies are going to do something?
Yeah, they're gonna have a pay-per-view.
I mean, like who?
Who? AEW and New Japan.
Okay. So people who have already been working together are finally going to do a pay-per-view together.
Yeah, they've loosely been working together. I mean, you'll see some New Japan guys come over to AEW for like Dynamite or Rampage, and then you'll see AEW guys go over and they'll be on New Japan Strong.
But this is going to be like a full-blown mix-up.
Yes.
Do you
Yeah.
think there's? Remember we talked about this like last year. Uh, you think there's going to be any chance of unifying titles and title swapping television shows? Like, you think they'll possibly let an AEW title go back to Japan or vice versa?
Well, that's an interesting question, especially now with Tony Khan also owning Ring of Honor, because that happened all the time with Ring of Honor. The Ring of Honor world title and the Ring of Honor world television title stuff, they were defended on on New Japan shows. And New Japan wrestlers would hold those belts. Like last night on Rampage, one of the main uh, selling points of the match they had between Tomohiro Ishii and Adam Cole was the fact that at one time both of those guys were Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion. I mean, not World Heavyweight Champion, World Television Champion, while they were signed with New Japan. And then Adam Cole would eventually sign with the Ring of Honor, but he would still wrestle in Japan because Ring of Honor and New Japan had a working relationship together where but the people from both federations would wrestle in the
So
other.
you think this is a test run, or do you think this is just number one in the line of many?
This is probably going to be one of many because they've already had test runs. If you think, because like I said, you've already had um, wrestlers from both promotions going back and forth. And then you've also had the AEW didn't had the IWGP US title defended on an episode of Dynamite more than once even. So yeah, I think this is what everything has been building to, and we're going to see more of it, especially with the travel restrictions finally lessening over in Japan. I think that's the main thing that really has slowed down all of this. Remember, all this was started before the COVID thing really got out of hand. And now that all that is like going to the wayside, I think we're going to definitely see more of the cross promotion between them, and maybe with Impact getting more involved as well.
When's the event scheduled for?
June 26th. It'll be June 26th in Chicago.
So what's next? We're going into May, right?
Yeah, May, and then May they should, I believe Double or Nothing is in May, which will be the solo pay per view for AEW, their next one.
I'll keep track of it, and if it seems like it's going to be good, yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah, I mean this.
Is it going to be on a weekend?
Yeah, it's good. It's Sunday, I believe. I believe June 26th is a Sunday.
What's going on here for this show in the middle here, man? April 22nd? Yesterday? Uh,
Which one? This one?
right here in the middle of your screen, yeah.
Yeah, this one. That was
Has that got like the ladies champion right there or something?
right here at the top. That's the TNT title. That's the I mean not the TNT, TBS title. That's the secondary women's championship for AEW. And the reason why they have this one on here, and again, it's this one's only available to users in Japan. Like they know where you're at. And then if I was using a VPN, I could trick it into thinking I was in Japan and watch it on here. But then, I mean, and it is in English. But the reason why this one's on here is because you see this match up here in the corner. That's the one I was just talking about, Adam Cole versus Ishii. That was, I believe, that was the first match on the night last night when I watched it in replay. Yeah, that was a good match too, by the way. That was the best match on the card. I really didn't care about anything else that happened. I just wanted to watch that match anyway. Just, like, I didn't care. I don't care about either one of these guys. To be honest, this was going to be a squash from the beginning. Really didn't care about this because neither one of these two are really any good, if you ask me. This was just an interview segment, and this was just an interview segment. So the only thing that was really worth a damn on last night was this right here. But again, that's my opinion. But yeah, I checked. June 26th is on a Sunday.
Well, if it's not full of a bunch of female,
Oh no, you're probably not going to,
then
unless they have Stardom people come over and get involved too. You're not going to see a women's match because New Japan doesn't have a women's division.
not opposed to a women's match. I just don't want it to be the main event.
No, you're not going to have that in New Japan.
Like I said, if it's worth doing, we'll do that.
Yeah, Jason was already talking about that. He's like, "Yeah, man, we can do that." But yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going to do that. I mean, if they're already saying that the first match is possibly going to be Kenta versus CM Punk, they're only going to get better from there, and that's probably going to be a really good match. I know I'm not the biggest CM Punk fan, but Kenta versus CM Punk, they're going to tear the place down if they're allowed to do whatever. Because as much as I don't like CM Punk, the guy's not bad in the ring, you know, and Kenta is amazing in the ring. So the two of them together, and if that's the first match they're announcing, holy hell, I can't wait to see what other matches they have. Now they have said that Okada may not be coming over. Again, that's the blonde guy here who is the IWGP World Title holder. But that's because he may have a prior engagement that he has to go to, and he may not be able to get out of it. You know, because New Japan, they do all kinds of different things over there with the community and stuff. So if he can't come over, that's probably what that's going to be. It's going to be an engagement that he can't get out of. But you know, matches like Naito versus Moxley, for example, that would be insane. And you know, it's God. Some of these matches, yeah. I think that would be another good match. Freaking Takagi versus Wardlow would be crazy. Um, you know, yeah. Will Ospreay versus Brian Danielson. Man, there's just so many they could do.
Is there any chances that some of them free agents that WWE's been cutting could make guest appearances?
Yeah, it's a possibility. I mean, AEW's already signed some of them, so it's always a possibility. You know, a situation like this, I don't know if you could roll anything out. And some of those people might sign to ROH, and with ROH basically being a division of AEW right now, ROH could end up on the card too, easily end up on the card. Like Samoa Joe, he's the ROH World Television Champion, but he's signed to AEW. I mean, not the World Heavyweight Champion, he's the World Television Champion. Jonathan Gresham right now is still the ROH World Heavyweight Champion. And he's a little guy too. He's a little guy, but he's built like a tank. He's not your typical little guy wrestler. He's Sammy Guevara versus Hiromu Takahashi. That would be an amazing match. God, there's just so many matches. Like, I know you guys don't know who I'm talking about, but good lord, this could really be the pay per view of the year if they pull it off right. It really could. And it's supposed to be, you know, from what they were saying, it's supposed to be AEW versus New Japan. So you're not going to generally, you're probably not going to see any AEW guys going against AEW guys. It's all going to be like New Japan guys going against AEW guys. So the possibilities for like just dream matches here are insane.
So do you think it'd be beneficial for Japan to take all their titles home and all their superstars to win, and then AEW do the same thing, all their major superstars win and keep all their titles, or do you think it's risky to swap titles on the first pay-per-view, or do you think that would be a good move? And when is that pay-per-view? June 20. When, you'll have to say it again, Rich.
June 26th, Sunday, June 26th.
There you go. Okay, good.
But remember, John Moxley was defending their U.S. title on AEW programming here in the United States. He lost that championship to Lance Archer on an AEW program. And then Lance Archer lost that championship on a New Japan show to Tanahashi, who then went over to Japan with it and lost it over there to Sonata. So the last four IWGP US champions have been two Americans signed to AEW and two Japanese guys signed to New Japan. So I don't think it would matter too much. And like I said before, if Tony Khan goes the way that Ring of Honor used to do with New Japan, it wouldn't be uncommon for Ring of Honor guys to have Japanese titles and Japanese guys to have the ROH titles. So I could very much see that if they keep that with AEW and New Japan doing that same thing, especially now with the travel restrictions in Japan loosening up, where the guys aren't having to sit there for 2 weeks in a hotel room twiddling their thumbs before they're allowed to get into a wrestling ring. And like I said, we got a little over 2 months for them to get this all planned out, which should be plenty of time to do that, put that show together. Especially depending on how long they've been in talks behind the scenes with it.
Yeah, man. If it only costs 3,000 yen, I got it. We'll get it done.
Yeah, I don't know how much. It's probably going to cost more than that. Maybe not. The last one that it was just New Japan, that was the same price. That was like $24. The one that they're not going to put on over there on the New Japan website until next month, but was what, the 16th? I think that show was. I already saw it though, but you know, there's ways. Stuff I can't talk about on YouTube. But yeah, Bleacher Report's going to have that. It'll probably be. It might. I don't know. I can't really say. Like Evolution was 50 when Buck paid for that. So, I don't know if this one's going to, because of it also being AEW. I don't know if they got it up there or not yet for price. No, they don't have it listed on there yet. But they're the ones that are supposed to be carrying it in the U.S. So we'll have to wait and see. I don't know when they're going to announce what the price of it actually is going to be.
Boy, there's a blast from the past.
What?
Starcade.
Oh, yeah. Well, no. Last time they had something like this wouldn't have been Starcade because they just, during WrestleMania weekend, they just had the show that was in Dallas that was Impact, Ring of Honor, New Japan, and Pro Wrestling Noah, which is also a Japanese federation all get together and co-sponsor a pay-per-view. I just don't remember what the hell the name of it was. It was technically a Impact pay-per-view, but they all were working in conjunction on it. And for the life of me right now, I can't remember what the hell the name of that show was. I watched it too, and it was a good show. That and the ROH show that weekend were better than WrestleMania. What's the name of that show? Multiverse of Matches. That's what it was. But that was the Impact Multiverse of Matches. But again, there were 4 different promotions that were wrestling on that show, or had representation on that show, I should say. It's technically Eddie Edwards is signed to Impact, but he was wrestling under the Pro Wrestling Noah banner for that show. I don't know if that counts or not. If you don't want to count that, then there were 3 different promotions that were there. Because technically, you could say Ring of Honor. That would have been AEW Ring of Honor, because at that point, that was when Ring of Honor was owned by AEW, or Tony Khan anyway, who owns AEW, so it might as well be owned by AEW. Then you had Impact and New Japan, and then, like I said, if you want to count Pro Wrestling Noah, then that too, because Eddie Edwards was wrestling under their banner that night. So, and then even the Ring of Honor show that happened, you had guys from Impact and Ring of Honor on that show. I mean, well, obviously Ring of Honor, Impact and AEW on that show. So there were multiple shows that weekend that had wrestlers from different promotions all over the place. Well, I just watched that show, NKTL. That's why I knew. uh, Ring of Honor show, and then right after that was the Impact show, and the Briscoe brothers wrestled on both shows.
Don't let him fool you. MK Joe's no slouch either. He's either real quick with the internet kung fu, or he knows a lot of stuff too. Because we be talking about some obscure stuff, and he's out in the chat going, "Oh no, it's pronounced this way," or "Hey, this is some fact." So he's pretty knowledgeable too.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with that. Hey, give me just like 2 minutes, man. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you get a chance, go back and watch the Ring of Honor show from WrestleMania weekend and the Impact show from that weekend, and compare them to when we watched WrestleMania. It's not even a close. The wrestling was so much better on the Ring of Honor and the Impact shows that weekend. It really, really was.
Hey, it's better lucky than good.
Yeah. What else we got? I'm trying to think what else is going on. I mean, this really was the big news this week. It's kind of overshadowed everything else.
Is there any injury reports on Bootios and
No,
Adam Sandler on steroids?
no, nothing along those lines. Wait, no, there was one with the guy you're talking about, Rick Boogs. They reanalyzed again. Not only did he injure his knee, he also tore his quad.
Yeah, man, it was pretty nasty. I know. I mean, I seen the guy's knee give out, and if he was an actor, he needs an Oscar for that. But now we know for sure that it wasn't an act.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you saw what happened. Jason's not back yet, so but when that
He was
second
there,
guy,
wasn't
when that second dude jumped up on that other guy's back, that's asking a lot of a human being.
Yeah, that was the Usos, right? That they were
Yeah,
wrestling.
yeah. He had the one guy in the torture rack, and the other one jumped on top of the torture rack.
Well, it
And
wasn't the torture rack. He had him in a fireman's carry, which is like the torture rack but laying on his belly instead of his back.
yeah, yeah. That's asking a lot. I don't care how big and strong you are. That's a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the MKJO one said, "I wonder how often they had to rehearse. They rehearsed that. With it being WWE, they probably did a few times. They probably rehearsed in the performance center before they even went. Oh, excuse me, to Dallas.
What it looked like to me was it looked like he was when he picked the first guy up. The second guy was supposed to get picked up as well. Like he was supposed to dip and kind of
Mm-hmm.
pick him up and have both of them, and then either do the fall on his back or toss him out of the ring over the top. And
Right.
I think the Uso guy jumped on his back, kind of like what do they call it when you ad lib?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he might have been
And,
out of position, and he thought that it just jump up since he was out of position to pick me up, kind of thing, and then have him catch me.
and also, I think that the first dude, I don't know, I can't remember if you said that the guy was already coming back from an recent injury or not.
No,
I think he was struggling with the first guy to get his balance and get his footing, not hold him up because obviously,
right.
but so he should have been able to communicate with the Uso guy to say, "Hey, kick me in the stomach or something. Let's do something different here."
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I've seen where they've what where I wasn't sure if he was actually injured or not, and why I was leaning towards not, because I've seen that spot before in matches where a guy will have one up on his shoulder and then go to pick the other guy up, and then they'll do kayfabe where his knee gives out. So that's why I wasn't sure. You know what I mean? Couldn't really tell, and the fact that they showed him on camera being tended to by the medical staff. Generally, if it's a real injury, they don't do that because they want to get the guy off camera and go back and like when Big E broke his neck, they didn't show him being tended to by the medical staff. They went right back into the ring and didn't show that anymore. So that was another thing that was leading me to thinking that maybe that was a kayfabe injury, not an actual injury. Kayfabe meaning that it was scripted. That's story and everything. But yeah, there was a lot of, and even that night when I went back and I watched some of the other wrestling channels to that point to see what their feelings are. A lot of guys watching it live thought it was a fake injury until we found out after the fact that he actually was injured, you know?
Well, I seen his knee buck, which made me instantly think, "Hey, that's real." And then I started thinking about like how it happened, the guy jumping on his back and everything. But then also, I expected him to hop back up, 2 minutes later and be on a tag me in kind of thing. But when he never did that, I started going, "Oh well, maybe it is real." But maybe that's part of the it. And I have to admit, wrestling did a good job. Like it had me wondering, is this real? Is
Yeah,
this fake? And that's like the whole point.
yeah, exactly. That's where I was. I was like, but I was leaning the other way. I was leaning towards it being a fake injury, but I wasn't really sure, you know, because there were things about it that looked legit, but then there were other things where if you know the inside baseball, made it seem like it wasn't legit injury. You know what I mean? So it was like, and sadly, it was a legit injury and worse than what they originally thought. Because remember, at first they thought he just injured his patella tendon, which would have been a couple of months off, and he would have been right back. Now, with it being a quad injury plus the ligaments in his knee, he's going to be out for at least a year, unless he's got that Super Cena serum. And even then, he's going to be out at least 9 months. So, I mean, It's one of those situations.
How do these guys get paid when they're off?
Well, they do now because they got guaranteed contracts. In the old days, they wouldn't get paid. Back in the old days, you got paid per match you had. Now, since the NWO and everything, that was something that came out of the NWO that people don't realize is guaranteed pay for the wrestlers.
So what do you, so he's got like a year's contract or a 10 match contract or something like that.
Uh, Hit multi-year contract. They'll sign you multiple years at a time. So he's gonna get paid. The problem is that pay is gonna have to go to paying for his medical bills and then you know whatever insurance, private insurance he may have had.
Maybe he had Obamacare.
Oh God, I hope not. No, he wouldn't have qualified. He made too much money. Well, but that's Jason. Internet issues.
I hit the button that said start camera, but I don't have a camera, so it
Oh,
kicked me out.
no, that would explain it. Because it said device not connected. So if your camera is not connected, I guess that would happen. Causes a program error or something. So what else we got to talk about here? We talked about the pay-per-view. Gave an injury report on the one injury we know. Because still don't know much about what's going on with Big E. Haven't heard anything lately about him. Probably still evaluating the injury. I mean, it's probably gonna be a while before we hear anything about whether he's ever going to be able to come back again or not. As they evaluate him and stuff, that's going to be a long, drawn out process. It could take over a year before we know for sure if he's ever going to be able to step back into a ring. We talked about the Darius Martin thing where he's going to be out for a while. Yeah, nothing really to rant about MKJL unless you want to rant about how the U.S. title is over in Japan. Yep, obnoxious out there, even in obnoxious.
Howdy, sir.
You know, if New Japan is going to have a U.S. title and have it over in Japan, I think AEW needs to create a Japanese title and keep it in the United States. What do you guys think?
Fair's fair.
They might have to. They might have a problem with the naming because if you had a New Japan title, a New Japan World title in America, China would be like, no, 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 no.
No, you just
We
call
run,
it the Japan title.
we run the United States, so it has to be the New Chinese title.
Nah, there's no major wrestling promotion in China. But yeah, we could have the AEW Japan title, Japan Championship. They got the IWGP United States Championship. We could have the AEW Japan Championship. Or maybe, and then we can trade. They can trade. AEW can trade, but then they make it sued by the WWE, which makes me wonder how New Japan hasn't got sued yet. Because Vince is litigious. Something like that. I'm surprised he hasn't tried suing them. He tried suing over the Too Sweet thing. Remember the hand gesture the NWA, I mean NWO used to do. He tried suing the Young Bucks and New Japan and Ring of Honor to get them to stop doing it. And then he tried suing AEW over it too at one point. and sent out cease and desist orders and stuff to stop using it because he said that was a trademark of uh, WCW, which now he owns because he owns WCW. And then Cody Rhodes had to take Vince McMahon. Here's the funniest part about Cody going back to WWE. He literally a year ago just won a lawsuit against Vince McMahon to be able to use the Rhodes name.
Isn't that their real name though?
No, that was their dad's stage name, and they just took it when they started wrestling.
I thought he just made the Dusty part up.
No, their last name is Runnels.
Hmm.
Runnels.
Okay.
If you go back and you watch, like on Peacock, you go back and you watch the old uh, World Championship Wrestling episodes from TBS, the 605 show, and you see in the credits where it says Virgil Runnels, that was Dusty Rhodes. That was his real name. In the credits for the one for like executive producer of the show or something along those lines, they used his real name in the credits instead of his wrestling name, which is what Dusty Rhodes was. But Dusty was his nickname when he was growing up. He just changed his last name to, in the ring to Rhodes. So there's a little trivia for you.
The American Dream.
The American Dream, Virgil Runnels, doesn't have the same ring to it, does it?
Yeah.
Eh,
Yeah. Well, the T-shirt maker might not be happy.
And when Ric Flair was starting out in wrestling, he wanted his character to be uh, Rick Rhodes. He wanted to be Dusty Rhodes' on-screen little brother. And they're like, no, no, we're not doing that.
oh, that would have been something.
That would have been interesting for sure. And the best part is Ric Flair's name is really Ric Flair. He just changed the spelling of the last name. The actual spelling of his name is like Fleilr or HR. It's Fleihr, if I remember correctly, which is a German. It's a German last name, and for spelling purposes, he changed the spelling. Kept his last name, but he changed the spelling on it.
Like legally change the spelling, or just for the character?
I don't know if he changed it legally or just for the character. To be honest with you,
And my question would be, how long did it take you to figure out when you're signing a check and you got to put your real name on it, and when you're signing a poster and you got to put the character name on it? Like, how many times did you screw that up?
yeah, I'm sure it happens.
I bet you it'd probably be a decent little collectible if you had a poster with where he accidentally spelled his real name.
Yeah, the crazy thing is, Ultimate Warrior actually changed his name to Warrior legally.
I was an idiot.
Well, he didn't want Vince McMahon being able to profit off the name, so he legally had his name changed to Vince, so Vince couldn't. I mean, that's how much the two of them hated each other at one point. That the guy actually changed his name to his character name.
That China chick lost her mind fighting with uh Vince McMahon.
Oh, the story behind that is absolutely crazy.
Oh, fill me in.
Okay, the short of it, she was um, engaged to Triple H. Triple H started screwing around on her behind her back with Stephanie. And then they started accusing her of China, that is, of doing porno and stuff, which up to that point she had never done. And then when she left the company while she was alive, they completely blackballed her. They wouldn't let her involved with the company anymore whatsoever at all. She was the victim here, right? And after, I mean, they basically, when she was working for WWE, remember when she was in Playboy? Vince pretty much told her she had to do that or he was going to fire her. And there's a whole bunch of shit that went on there, but too long to go into in an hour show, especially when we're already over an hour into it. But yeah, man, she was done dirty. She really, really was. It's they fucked with her so bad.
One of the hardest things she had to deal with was when he took her name, and she had to come
Mm-hmm.
out like the China doll thing
Mm-hmm.
was a major, major mistake. And not just being able to be China, that's where Vince really grabbed her by the throat.
Yeah, I mean they really did her dirty on that whole thing.
I'll be back in a minute.
And then when she started dating Sean Waltman, aka X Pac, aka Six and 123 Kid and whatever else he went by, that only made things worse because he got her hooked on drugs, which is eventually what killed her.
Yeah, I seen her on that. What was that show? The Real World, or something like that, where all the celebrities live together in a house.
Mm-hmm.
And she was pretty tore up on that show. Most of the shows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right before she died, she had gotten herself queen, and she was working for TNN on their Power Block. Remember where they would have like Hot Rod TV and shows like that? She
Yeah,
was actually hosting that at one point, right before she died. She had gotten herself off the drugs and everything, was straightening herself out, but her heart was damaged already too damaged, and she ended up having a heart attack.
that's how it always goes, man. They find somebody finally turns themselves around. You know what I mean? And it's actually too late. You know,
Mm-hmm.
good lesson to learn right there.
Well, you would think that would be a lesson. I mean, how many people have to overdose on heroin? I mean, big name stars before people realize, hey, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't be doing this stuff.
Yeah, I say ban Narcan. That's all our paramedics and police seem to do in this town, man. Go through cases and cases of Narcan.
Oh yeah, you guys know my wife used to work in the emergency room, and that's what they got a lot of the emergency room people saying, you know, we should just let these people die. I mean, it's when you
I,
see the same people, they'll come. Honest to God, my wife was saying they would have this one person come in almost every week on an overdose call. Same
yeah,
person.
yeah, we got the same people like that here, man. I got a police scanner app on my phone, and sometimes I get into it, and sometimes I check it. But like, I have a lot of newfound respect for our police officers and stuff of the bull crap that they got to put up with in this semi small town every hour of the day. I mean, you turn that scanner on 6 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday, and they already got hooligans going on. You know what I mean? There's just all kinds of shit, man. Overdoses, domestic violence, drunk. Early in the mornings, man. You're like,
Yeah,
what the hell? And then you
yeah,
get a full moon or an evening or something, and like, them guys are like nonstop busy. They can't catch a break for all the
yeah.
stupidness going on.
Yeah. Well, you know, my major was in college, when my degree's in, and I've known multiple police officers as well growing up and stuff. The one thing that they always dreaded getting was a domestic disturbance call. You get a domestic, they always said, you get a domestic disturbance call, you don't know if you're going to leave that scene. There have been officers shot just responding to a domestic disturbance.
Yeah, yeah, I got a lot of newfound respect for him over the last few years. We got some pretty decent police here in this town. They got to put up with a lot, and they're pretty fair dudes, man. So,
Still trying to think of what else we. Yeah, like I said, everything, any kind of news story this week has been like overshadowed by other things. I
hey,
know one.
hey,
Oh,
you got
good.
real quiet, at least for me.
Probably because I put my hand closer to my mouth.
Uh,
It was my fault. I was like doing the holding your chin, scratching your beard kind of thing, trying to think, realizing that, hey, you know what? That might muffle the microphone. Yeah, I know something that else that happened. It just was reported this weekend, or yes, today. Uh, Remember a while back we were talking about how Bret Hart might be going to AEW and managing FTR? That's not happening. Apparently, Bret Hart signed with WWE on a Legends contract.
also, Bret Hart's gonna come back, huh?
I don't think he's going to be wrestling. He'll probably
Well,
do that.
no, but back,
Yeah,
on camera in the show, you
yeah,
know.
possibly. Usually the Legends thing, they'll go and they'll do like off-screen stuff, or they'll do like meet and greets with people and stuff like that.
Is there any more Hart family that can wrestle? Or did he
Yeah,
have like
Natty
13 daughters or some shit?
Natty Neidhart is wrestling. Yeah, Natalia in WWE.
Last time I seen, well, wasn't the last time I seen it, but I seen like Bret Hart's like Hall of Fame interview or
Hmm.
induction. And shit, man, he had like 12 kids or some shit.
Yeah,
They were all out there in the front row seats. I was like,
yeah, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, if you want to talk extended Hart family, yeah, you got Natalia Neidhart, Jim Anvil Neidhart's daughter. Then you got Davy Boy Smith, his son. He wrestles. He goes by David Hart Smith, or just that. There's another name he goes by too. But anyway, he's wrestling. He's wrestling in Mexico right now, I believe, for CMLL. But
What
he was
happened to the Anvil guy?
Jim the Anvil Neidhart. He died.
Yeah,
Yeah, he died a few years ago. Yeah, but yeah, there's still members of the Hart family that are out there wrestling. I don't know if any of Bret Hart's kids are getting into wrestling, and I don't think Owen Hart's wife would let any of her kids, especially not in WWE. She won't let Owen go into the Hall of Fame. Vince has asked her multiple times, and she wants nothing to do with it. She absolutely hates Vince McMahon. On that front, AEW is doing something with the Owen Hart Foundation, which is the charity that she runs in Owen Hart's honor. They're doing a tournament. Um, so there's that. They're doing the qualifiers right now on Dynamite and Rampage. They're doing both a men's and a women's tournament with the final for each of those tournaments being at Double or Nothing. Speaking of tournaments, you know what I would like to see? Remember the original King of the Ring tournament? How it was all like in one night on one show? Wouldn't that be cool if somebody did that again? Where you'd have to wrestle multiple matches in one night to win the tournament?
Yeah, yeah, that would be a change up.
If you remember when they first started that King of the Ring in WWE, it wasn't that the tournament took place over multiple days. It was one pay per view. Like when Savage won it and Harley Race won it and all that. That was a one night pay per view. Yeah, those guys had to be dead tired by the end of the night.
Yeah, Makojo brings up that MMA first started like UFC kind of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
tournament style. So Hoist Gracie had a 2 hour match first, and then he had to fight again. And probably again. That's a hard life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, any type of extreme physical sport or anything like that you got to do it multiple times in one day, good day going into night. That's got to be tough, man. It's got to be tough. You get warmed up, get out there, do your match, and then you cool down, and then you got to get warmed back up again, and then get back out there and fight again, or do the wrestling where you're doing like the stunts and stuff. Man, that's got to be tough on your body.
That's how I feel at work every day, Richard. Every day.
That's why you took a weekend off finally.
Yeah. That's what it's like when you do more than one house in a day. When you used to
Mm-hmm.
do one house one day, now you do two houses one day. When you're done with that first house, it's like, phew, gotta get started all over again.
Just say with today's wrestlers, I don't know if today's wrestlers could do it. You know, it's a different training routine and everything.
The problem with today's wrestlers, and most of today's wrestlers were yesterday's wrestlers. 60-year-old men ain't supposed to be doing triple backflips.
Uh, there's few and far between of those, at least in the United States. In
Yeah, wrestling used to have a lot more, like grappling holds and
there. Hmm.
hold you in a headlock or twist your arm like where both of you are getting a chance to catch your breath. You know what I
Right. They
mean?
used to call those were called rest holds for a reason. You don't get that anymore.
Yeah,
Really.
like prying the fingers back or
Hmm.
something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't see a lot of that anymore.
Nah, always end it with like a rake to the eyes or something.
You know what else you don't see a whole lot anymore? The When they grab each other's shoulders at the beginning of the match, kind of like to tie each other up.
Yeah.
You don't see a whole lot of that anymore either.
No, you
Yeah,
don't.
like
The only
maybe
time you
grab them
really
around
see
the
that,
neck or something. Both
yeah,
of you lock
yeah.
up. I guess.
The only
Yeah.
time you see that is like if it's two really big guys and they're trying to test each other's strength. The little guys, you don't see that anymore with the little guys.
Yes, little guys are smarter. When you go to do that grapple, that's when we kick you in your stomach.
Hmm. Yeah, the Japanese version of that collar and elbow tie up that Kingpin's talking about is they just whack each other repeatedly in the head with their elbows back and forth, try and knock each other the hell out. It was funny in the match with Adam Cole and Ishii. Adam Cole tried doing that elbow where they exchange elbow strikes, and it didn't work so well for Adam Cole. I mean, Adam Cole's not a really big guy. Ishii is. You know, Ishii's one in the wrestling. I mean, this guy isn't just a pro wrestler. He's done MMA over in Japan, just like Minoru Suzuki has. It, Adam Cole. It was funny. They had Adam Cole was going to do the elbow thing, and he hits Ishii, and then he's like, "Come on, hit me!" And Ishii just knocked him flat on his ass.
And now they do the elbow thing.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to you, Rick.
Yeah, what's he know? He eats open faced grilled cheese,
It's on toast.
but it's not a rabbit.
It is too. It's a Welsh rabbit.
If that's a Welsh rabbit, they got some really weird rabbits over there in Wales.
We should sue London or England or Britain or whatever they call that place now for mangling the English language the way that they do.
Yeah, they invent the thing and then they can't even speak it properly.
I mean, copyright strikes or something. We got to do something.
Out of just decency.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's like, it's on toast. Okay, how do you cook it? You put it in the broiler. What's the broiler replacement for? Shut up. Remember when I caught him in that one?
You're just scratching your mic all up or something.
Oh, is it sounding goofy again?
Nah, it just sounds like you were moving in your seat and you were sitting on it or something.
Like the wires wiggling or something. And now you're all quiet again.
Wow, I don't know what the hell issue is. Let me switch mics. Maybe that'll sound better on the other mic.
What kind of microphone are you using, Kingpin?
Oh man, I got top of the line stuff. This is HP laptop built-in microphone.
Oh, really? It's just built right in?
Yeah, man, that's I don't want to brag. I don't mean to make people feel uncomfortable or anything like that. But my laptop's got a mic and a camera built into it.
Man, my laptop, when I used to use my laptop, had two microphones. It had stereo microphones in it.
Couldn't get the stupid thing to play a DVD the other day, but it's got a camera on it.
Yeah. Now, is that a 720 or a 1080p?
I don't know.
Bet you it's 720.
It's just that like $300 one from
Oh
Walmart.
yeah, it's definitely 720 then. Yeah, our laptops are opposite ends of the spectrum. You got the $300 from Walmart special, and I got the $2,300 Alienware when it was brand new. So yeah, our laptops are definitely at different ends of the spectrum. But I didn't pay $2,300 for it.
Yeah, mine survived a punch to the screen.
Mine's been dropped multiple times. Yeah, laptops have come a long way. I don't know how many times my damn 2-in-1 upstairs has been knocked to the floor. That's an HP too, now that I think about it. A 14-inch HP 2-in-1. Pavilion X360.
Yeah, I would have got a laptop, man. That's what I kind of set out to do, but the writing, the print and stuff's just too small, man. I can't see it. So if I couldn't read what was going on, I didn't think it was what I should buy.
What size screen were you looking at?
Oh, any of them, dude. I'm on a 27-inch right now, and I still can't read it. So no laptop is gonna help me.
You can magnify the font.
Yeah, I know. I've played with it, but I'm talking. I was wanting to something I could see without glasses, and yeah, I gotta modify it up like the one right before the Super Giant, like 175, 185%,
Mm-hmm.
to take glasses off. Other than that, it's all. It's not that I can't see it. It's just so blurry that I can't read it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I have to increase depending on the website and the writing, I have to increase the font a lot.
Why don't you just put some glasses on, Jason?
Yeah, I got glasses on right now, but It's a
Honestly, get
rough
some pair of
change, man.
glasses, Jason.
Like 5 years ago, I didn't have to have glasses, so it just sucks when you
Yeah, I know
can't
exactly,
read a single instruction, printing, writing on anything.
dude. I
It
know
just
exactly
sucks.
what you're talking about, dude. I know exactly what you're talking about. Just- I'm in that same boat, man. Yeah, I have trouble reading with my glasses on.
Yeah, small stuff I do too. The other day, uh, I had a pair of glasses and I broke the arm off of it. I guess you call it here, the leg, the ear, whatever. Uh, and I went to see what was going on and fixed it, and I found a funny dilemma. You can't see to fix your glasses when you don't have your glasses on wearing them. So like you're totally fucked when something happens.
It's like when we were building the kids their computers, man. Uh, the really small, fine detail stuff, like having to plug in all the little power cables because for some reason they don't. Most computer cases don't make them one nice big block. They have them as little itty bitty things. I'm like, nope, you're putting that. You're doing that. I can't. It's like I don't have one. I don't have the fine motor control to do that because of the issues with my elbow and stuff. And then I can barely see to do it anymore. The writing on the keyboards, I mean, the motherboards is so damn small to make sure you're putting those things in the right spot. But nope, you're doing that. That's your computer. You're doing that. I'm not.
Yeah, man. I went shooting today, man, and I had just a fantastic day, and it was so much fun to look down the sights again. But I had no problem with the sights that I'm using, picking up the front sight, seeing my target just perfect. But now my rear sight, yeah, I can't see it all. So like if you want to line your dot up in between your rear sight, it's more just like natural instinct build to me. Can't see it at all. Just can't. So I basically just hold up a pistol and it's like looking at a dot, a red dot just sitting on top. And it works. I had great success, relaxing, didn't put much effort into it. It just was out having a good time today. But getting broke in a little bit, I struggled. But and I tried because I was shooting four different guns, man. And this one, I swear I got to move the sights, but I'm gonna shoot it a couple more times before I move them. But it just seemed like I needed to move the sights on them, but I couldn't. I just couldn't pick it up on the rear sight, man. Just couldn't. They're just rear sight is just a piece of square black on the hanging on the back of the gun. I can't get any fine detail out of it at all. But everything still worked. I was good. I shoot you. Don't come in my front door.
Mhm.
I ain't blind, but
I might as well be in my left eye. Everything's nothing but a constant blur. I quote with my glasses on, I can barely see with my left eye is barely. I mean, it's everything's a blur with my even with the glasses on. The other day we were at the supermarket and I was looking at the register. You know, they got like the computer screens now for cash registers. I closed my right eye. I'm looking at that thing. I could not read the fucking thing. That was with my glasses on. Like,
I did have two. I don't know. One might say minor glitches. Others might say the ultimate hugest mistake of all shooting today. Everything was good. I kept every shot all day long, every magazine right inside the outer rings there of the bullseye. You know, right in my little targets in the colored zone. Uh, Now I was going up, checking out, walking up there, see what was going on. Uh, I had a couple of like flyers, I guess, and they wasn't even on paper, and they wasn't even on the target board out there. Like I just shot 15 shots. All of them were in a nice fist-sized group, and I go up there, and I only got 14 holes. So like, I don't know. I guess I sent a few bullets today that was way, way out of there. So
What kind of target hanging? Like, do you hang paper targets or steel or what?
yeah, paper targets. We got basically like a plywood sheet blackboard, standing on posts,
Mm-hmm.
so it's level with you. And I get the dirty bird targets.
Oh, wait a
The
minute. You showed it at your range. You showed a picture at your range today, right?
Yeah,
On your
yeah.
video.
I just take as many as I can get, and they come in like there's four different targets on one piece of paper on those, and I
Yeah.
just go staple up as many as I got room for. And yeah, I had a couple where, man, I sent a flyer that didn't even hit the whole blackboard or nothing. I couldn't find no holes, so I'm like, Jesus, you know what I mean? You better,
Isn't it possible you just double hold?
nah, nah. You can see the double holes. And some of those groups weren't all that tight. So like you go up there and you count them and like, damn man, what's going on? That's not cool. You know what I mean? You're responsible for every one of those bullets. You know what I mean? And had that happen like once, and I was like, man, you need to, uh, you know, do a little something here. And then like I had a couple more later. I was just like, damn.
These slow, methodical shots, or you kind of like
No,
popping through?
no, no. I pretty much go mag dumping. I, I just do what I do, and I went out there normal, and things look great for me not shooting a couple times. Like my first two magazines, everything was going good, and I was sitting there thinking, I put no grip into it at all. I mean, I went out there and limp wristed my first magazines like nothing, no grip at all, no concentration on aim at all, and results was satisfactory. And I was like, man, you need to do something with your grip, and you need to make better choices. And I started doing that on a couple, the target patterns. And I had one going where every bullet was going through the other hole. I tore up a very small area, just like a complete great big round hole you could see through. And then after that, I decided that was like too much work and too much effort. It was just a hell of a lot more fun just to go up there and pretty much mag dump and be close enough. So I kind of spent the rest of the day enjoying myself instead of trying to bear down and have like the ultimate practice. You know what I mean? I just wanted to go out and have some fun.
Shooting any reloads?
No, I was only shooting 9mm today. I don't reload 9mm. I will someday, but right now with the way primers are, I need my primers for like 38s, 357s. I don't want to waste up primers on 9mm.
Yeah. Wasn't it on Gary's show last night where they were talking about where we were talking about how Vista Group has stated that they're not going to be doing any civilian or commercial consumer. That's what I'm looking for. Consumer primers anymore for a while anyway.
Yeah, I heard something like that. That's scary to think because we ain't getting none now as it is, and it's been this COVID shit was 2 years ago, man.
Yeah.
It's time for stuff to be back on our shelves.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, that's what Remington and CCI primers are going to be.
CCI primers are pretty much the mainstay of what has been available for the last 2 years. If you can find stuff, it's CCI primers. Uh, I don't know about Remington primers, man. I don't think Remington primers is very good. I don't know if I'd like to pay high
Well,
dollar for those or not.
yeah, it, it'd be nice to see now that they're Vista Group, which is essentially federal, division, basically a subdivision of federal now for all intents and purposes. Yeah, if their quality would improve, I mean, especially with CCI being in that same group of companies now with them. So interesting to see, but not going to get that chance if they're not going to be releasing any for consumer use.
I don't know. We the people need to file lawsuits or something to get our ammunition supplies back in availability because, like, I believe the paper says deemed necessary. Well, it's kind of hard to be necessary and fulfill that promise these days. You know what I mean? I mean, when it comes to getting primers and other stuff, it's just like it doesn't even matter if you're willing to pay a high price. It's not available. The store doesn't have it. The factory doesn't have it to give you, and that's bullshit. I mean, we're 2 years into this. I mean, name any company out there in any industry or whatever that can't supply its product to the people for over 2 years at a time. You know, what if Ford and Chevy said, "Nah, everybody wants a car, but we can't get a car onto your dealers for 2 years." Well, they go out of
Well,
business.
They did that.
yeah,
Well,
They did that.
yeah,
because of chips, but still, you know what I'm saying. They had
yeah.
some car. I mean, imagine anything like, just their company can't provide the product. And that drifts
Video
all the way
cards.
down to reloading
Yeah,
components,
yeah.
the
There were a
machines,
lot
the
of things where that was
companies,
happening though. Yeah,
everything, man. I mean, they just can't even supply the product. It's
yeah. Well,
ridiculous.
you saw the same thing with anything that had a computer chip, not just cars. The only CPUs they were putting out, I mean, you could get a CPU, you couldn't get a video card. The video card thing, thankfully, is starting to correct itself. Ammo, to an extent, is starting to correct itself, but now you still can't get primers.
Yeah, us
But that,
reloaders can't get shit. And ammo,
yeah,
the prices are kind of, it's the new
uh,
norm, and the new norm sucks.
you know what it is? They make more money using those primers to make the ammo that everybody wants who doesn't reload. So you reloaders are screwed because the money isn't in reloading supplies right now. The money is in completed ammo that people just go and buy a box at their local store.
Yeah, man, we've been getting shafted for a couple of years here, man. It's getting worse.
Oh, it's
And all
going to.
and this new talk of the government opening up 18 ammunition factories, that ain't for us. That's for them.
Mm-hmm.
And if Lake City, how long they had just Lake City?
Oh
50
hell,
years?
they
70
weren't
years?
using just Lake City. Lake
Well, they
City's the
sub it
main
out.
facility, but
But yeah, well, anyways, Lake City produces enough that there's, besides what they give to foreign countries and this and that, we can still go buy Lake City ammo, and they call it overruns, and they
mm-hmm.
call it surplus. So Lake City's able to handle what's going on already. 18, 18 new ammunition factories. Uh, I don't. It's something. There's something not right with that. Because look at everything else they've done. There's no rightness
Mm-hmm.
to any of it. But just the mere fact, even if we had a legitimate reason, you do that. Now there's less. They're going to hog up all the materials. You'll never buy primers. You'll never buy powders.
No.
The industry can't support what it has now. It definitely can't support 18 new factories.
Yeah,
Just the raw materials, so many tons of so much stuff that comes into America, imported, mined here, processed here. They'll soak up that entire thing, and us consumers and the civilians will be left with nothing, man. They'll
yeah,
wipe it out.
yeah. I mean, a perfect example. Look at the gas prices under Obama, right? Gas prices pushing what, $3 a gallon under Obama. Trump gets into office, gas prices go down to $1.99. Biden gets into office, some places gas is over $4 a gallon still.
Shit, we had gas here for a brief time. It was only like $1.20, man. $1.19
Yeah, yeah. National
during
average
Trump.
was $1.99 during Trump. National average now is around $4. During Obama, it was hovering between 3 and 3.50. And remember, according to Biden, we're going to have food shortages soon, and it's necessary to happen. Think about that. He said this, and he's not the only one on the left that said it.
I don't think he was talking to us. I think he was talking to the invisible people standing around him.
The ones he was trying to shake hands with, and even they ignored him. just like Obama did. You saw that video, right, where Biden's trying to get Obama's attention, and Obama was just ignoring him the whole time.
No, I didn't catch that.
And yeah, Joe starts wandering around like he's lost. I was like, oh my god. They were at some function somewhere, and Joe is trying his damnedest to get Obama's attention, and Obama was just ignoring him.
Yeah, it's obvious, man. Say what you want about anything else, and I won't get political about. But the man just basically is too old for the job.
Yeah.
He's not mentally there. Just like some of the other ones, Feinstein they're talking about. Nancy's crazy in her head too. These people are just too old, man, and they need to call it quits or something, man. Go
Yeah,
home and
Nancy,
retire.
Nancy's a drunk who likes her ice cream too much.
Yeah, I mean, their intelligence and their mind just ain't there anymore. Happens to all of us, man. I watch it with my mother right now. Their minds start to slip away. I mean, that's what happens when you're 75, 80 years old. You know what I mean? You're not supposed to be working.
In 2024, Biden is going to be 82 years old. Trump will be older.
Yeah, but Trump's the man. Look at the man. He's got more energy than I got.
I would rather see DeSantis run than Trump run again. I mean,
Well,
I
I don't know.
voted. Don't get me wrong. I voted for Trump both times, but I don't
Look,
think
man,
he should be running again.
I'll give Trump his credit, man. He's the man of energy. I don't care how old he is, man. He's got a smoking hot wife that's like half his age, and he's filthy rich, man. How could you just not love life? How could you not have the energy? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Trump's a man.
I think I would rather see him supporting DeSantis in a DeSantis run than I would see Trump running himself again, though.
Actually, Trump's like 10 minutes away from me right now, man. I got a text. He's doing like a
Oh yeah,
rally or
you said that
speech.
earlier.
I forget about what. I kind of forgot about he was coming, but he's probably endorsing somebody local or something around here, I imagine.
Oh, the cognitive skills test is that what you're talking about, MKJO? Biden could never pass a cognitive skills test. That's why he wouldn't take it when Trump challenged him to take one.
Yeah, half of Congress can't either.
Well, like, hey, you
Even
doing
some of the
coke?
young
You
ones.
doing coke? Did they ask you to take a drug test before you said that?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't they like report for years secretly that like after there's like reports of like the Congress people getting like their medicine like through Congress and stuff, and a whole bunch of people was on like Alzheimer's medicine and stuff.
It wouldn't surprise me if that were the case. Some of those people have been in office since Nixon was president. No joke.
Yeah, there was something because like all them guys got like their own health care plan that we don't. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
there's some kind of public record on it or something, and like they didn't have the patient's name or whatever, but like how much money they spend on medicine and prescriptions for the Congress people, and like there was a whole shitload of like Alzheimer's medicine in there.
Yeah. Well, Pelosi's been in the House since like 1969, somewhere around there. It's insane. This woman shouldn't be sitting in as the Speaker of the House anymore. She should be retired, living on a farm somewhere. Put out the pasture. Maybe a glue factory. I don't know. But,
Plus, it's a little known secret, known well fact of life. Like us young people really don't listen to you old people.
All right, boys, it's time for me to go sleep.
okay. Yeah, we're getting.
See you
I
later.
think it's time to wrap this up. Anyway, remember, this is only supposed to be an hour show, and we're almost 2 hours in. We're almost 2 hours into a 1 hour show. So, yeah. Anything you want to plug or anything before we get out of here, Kingpin?
Just thanks everybody, mostly MK Joe for hanging out, and everybody have a good night.
Yeah. Yeah, what about you, Jason?
Yeah, I'll just say hi to MK Joe too, man. He's always out there. Been out there on the shows today, man. Uh, Thanks for hanging out, man. Y'all ought to come on the show one time, man. And
Yeah,
let's hang,
he's
man.
welcome.
Yeah,
He's
come on,
welcome if
man.
he ever decides he wants to jump on one of these.
Let's watch some of these pay per views, buddy. Good to see
Yeah,
you out there, though.
yeah,
I hope you
that
have a
that
good evening, a good weekend.
that joint pay per view with New Japan and AEW, man, that'll be the perfect opportunity for MKJO to jump in on one of these things, man.
The best thing, the easiest and best thing for me to say about MK Joe is I see him in a lot of my areas of the internet. He has integrity. I'll just tell you that that's a man with integrity right there.
He said one of these days he'll get out of his turtle shell. So are you
Man, no need to.
Michelangelo or Donatello?
Yeah, no need to be shy of us, buddy. Come on in.
Shit, man, we're just regular guys on the internet who decided to have a phone call via the internet and let everybody else in on it. That's basically what we do every week. I mean, if you really stop and think about it. So, anyway, if you haven't done so already, go out there and check out the video. I got a playlist of the 2 videos I did so far on the Groove Belt from Groove Life. And I also finally, so Rob D would leave me alone about it, got the video done on the R&L displays, AR-15 display. So if you haven't checked that out yet, go and do that when we're done here. Both that playlist and that video are available. There's also the playlist from the Great American Outdoor Show. If you haven't checked out any of those videos yet, you can go over and check those out. We had videos from quite a few different places over there. We got Mossberg and EAA, who import the Gerson pistols that you see a lot of the different channels talking about now. A couple of smaller companies you may not have heard of, like Z Clear, which is a cleaning agent for lenses like glasses and rifle optics and stuff, which also puts a coating on the lens of whatever you're using it to clean for a couple of days, which prevents them from fogging up. So, and it does work. I use it on my glasses. I clean my glasses with it twice a week, and if I go into the bathroom after my wife gets out of the shower, trust me, she's one of those people that goes in and she forgets that there's a cold water knob when she gets a shower. You go in the bathroom after her, and it's like walking into a steam bath. You could walk in the bathroom and have a sauna, okay? And my glasses don't steam up. So the stuff works. If you haven't checked that out, I believe the site's zclear.com. You go over in that video. I got the link down in the description for that product. So go check that out. If you wear glasses and you want something that's going to do a good job keeping your glasses from fogging up, that really does. And it also fill in small cracks as well. If you got, or scratches, I should say, not cracks. But anyway, that's a product people should be checking out if you haven't. So with that said, got a new outro for our shows that Mr. DM Foss was kind enough to do. So first I will play the wrestling one because it's MKJO's favorite, and then we'll play the new intro or outro once it's done. Hopefully it'll be done processing soon. So I forgot to upload that earlier. Just did it. So we'll play this one and then we'll play that one and we'll bid you good night for tonight, not for this week, because we still got a show tomorrow night too, which by the way will be in this second.
Did Rick write your closeout script?
I don't know, man. I'm just like rambling right now. Anyway, Here's the first outro.
You guys are probably really scared right now, and I understand that completely. But I get the better of the deal, and even though it's 3 versus 2, you guys are outnumbered because we're better than you guys. Yeah, we are. We're legends in our own mind compared to you guys. Even though you guys got the egos, we have got the wrestling skill. And this guy right here, we're the Space Cowboys.
All right, and here's the new one. All right. So, good night, everybody.